Look at this Epstein file redaction. Someone emailed Epstein, "Thank you for a fun night. Your littlest girl was a little naughty," and their name is redacted. We were promised redactions would be to protect victims, not abusers. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but we do know that the law gives the DOJ other reasons to redact. For instance, if there's an active investigation, that could be what's going on. Also, the DOJ just sent a letter to Congress telling members of Congress they are able to review the documents in unredacted forms if they wish. This is about transparency to the public, but we also see this email that says, "New Brazilian just arrived, sexy and cute, 9 years old," and the name is redacted once again. It is important to know that the equal sign is an export error. It's supposed to be a 1. This email shows up 4 different times in the files. 3 of them have it corrected at 19-year-old. Oh, that makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. But the name of the sender in all of them is redacted. So whether it's a 9 or 19-year-old, this seems like an important piece of information. You'll see one of these emails does show it from a modeling agency based in Paris. The same modeling agency sent Epstein other emails from a lady named Victoria Houses. Who is that, and why isn't she being brought in for questioning? And why the redaction on the one about the Brazilian? And why is the name redacted when Epstein sent this to someone? Where are you? Are you okay? I love the torture video. Or the co-conspirators from the Florida draft indictment. Why are they redacted? Again, the Epstein Transparency Act set a process in place to deal with over redactions. The DOJ has 15 days to send Congress a summary explaining their redaction, and as the letter said, after that is done, if Congress members want to see the unredacted version for themselves, they can. Let the process play out. It's hard to trust the process when the only results thus far from the release were certain victims exposed and no new abusers in jail. Peter Mandelson is under investigation. That's in the UK. Still.
And all right, and that's where we're at with that. And don't worry, we'll get right into that as well. We are live. Yo, this is Set with Set Media, guys, and I'm back with another one for you. All right, we're about to get into Trump's announcement of his RX and the RX website. We're also going to get into the Epstein files and the media analysis. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and double tap that screen. This is going to be a quick one, so let's get right into it.
Hey, Trump.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This is a big deal. This is a very big deal. People are going to save a lot of money and be healthy. So we're here this evening to celebrate the launch of one of the most transformative healthcare initiatives of all time. There's never been anything like it. Starting tonight, dozens of the most commonly used prescription drugs will be available at dramatic discounts for all consumers throughout a new website. It's called TrumpRx.gov. That's TrumpRx.gov. For years, politicians from both parties have promised to bring down prescription drug prices and make healthcare more affordable, but they all failed. It was all words as usual. They failed, and they failed badly. They tried doing this. Some of them, most of them didn't even try because they never really had a shot at it. But I'm actually getting it done, and it is done, actually. This launch represents the largest reduction in prescription drug prices in history by many, many times. And it's not even close. You're going to see numbers that you're not going to believe. Americans have long been paying the highest drug prices anywhere in the world, while other countries often paid pennies on the dollar for the exact same drugs. We were essentially subsidizing the entire world. And
we made up for 75% of these pharmaceutical companies' profits. And as one, we're also doing all the research and development, the R&D. So you would think that since we're the one doing the research and development, they would give us a deal on it. But no, they put the cost of that and pretty much the cost of the world on the American people. So yeah, it's true. While we were paying like $1,000 for the Ozempic pen, we got people in Europe only paying like $200.
Subsidizing by hundreds of billions of dollars every year. The United States is just 4% of the world's population and consumes only 13% of all prescription drugs. Yet pharmaceutical companies have been making 75% from these drugs. Think of it, 75% of the money they made came from the United States, with a smaller population than what we will call the world.
Yeah.
The American people were effectively subsidizing the cost of drugs for the entire world, and it's not going to happen any longer. We ended it. Everybody knew it was unfair for 30 years, but nobody did anything about it. Under the most favored nation agreements my administration has negotiated, the United States will pay the lowest price paid by any other country. So we're taking the lowest price paid for drugs. We will pay equal to whatever the lowest price anywhere in the world that's the price that you're going to be paying. It's a tremendous.
All right, and let's just go over the RX website real quick, just real quick. So here is this quarter Cetrotide, and look, the original price was $316. Now it is $22.50. I mean, we got this. I believe this is asthma medicine. Yep, it was $458. Now it is $51. I mean, you can also view details on it. And it goes like this down the board. Like, bro, even this, I don't even know what the hell this is used for, but it was like a $1,300, but now it's only $200. So yeah, and this is so shout out Trump on this one. Now he said there are more medications to be added. So right now there are about like 43 drugs on here. So you can go in there and search through it yourself and see if there's anything there for you.
Tremendous reduction. Drug prices in other nations will go up by doing this. They had to agree. And the reason they agreed is I used tariffs. I said, if you don't put them up, then we're going to put tariffs on your nation, which will be more expensive to you. So
so pretty much what happened is that the pharmaceutical companies have to find a middle ground or median price. So pretty much our price has to fall, but that means that other countries' prices have to go up. So it's like this. If we were paying $30 for a pill and these guys were paying like, I don't know, $10 for the pill, then instead of us going down to 10 and these guys keeping that price, no, we're going to go down to 15 and they're going to go up to 15. And that's just how it's going to work out across the board. Because we can only go, bro, we're already sky high. We have nowhere else to go but down.
In many cases, the drug costs will go up by double and even triple for them, but they're going way down for the United States. Come all the way down by a difference of as much as 300, 400, 500, even 600%, even more than that in some cases. For example, you will see dramatic reductions in the cost of popular weight loss drugs known as GLP-1s. GLP-1s. Novo Nordisk will be slashing the price, as an example, of Ozempic from more than $1,000 to $199. And the price of
which are facts. Here it is, TrumpRx.com. Like I said, you can go to this, well, TrumpRx.gov. Sorry, guys, it's .gov. But these are the pens he's talking about. Of course, the most basic example is the Ozempic pen. We all know Ozempic, $1,000. Well, and now it's only $200. Sorry, guys, my voice is kind of giving out a bit. But yeah, now it's about $200, 66 to 81% off. We got the other one, I guess the generic brand, was still about $900. Now it's only $160. I mean, seems like things are on the up and up. Seems like this is the promise kept situation here. I don't know how you Dems could honestly be mad. Like, he lowered medication prices. Like, how can y'all be mad at this?
From more than $1,300 to $199. Nobody can even believe it.
You could still keep the opinion of F Trump, but all right, you did good on this one. Like, you could still do that.
78% difference. Eli Lilly, who's been very helpful to us in getting this done, will be cutting the cost of its common insulin, drug, and medication from $200 to $25. Nobody can believe it. $200 to $25. AstraZeneca is slashing the price of a common inhaler from $458 to $51, a difference of nearly 800%. And we're also delivering historic
89%, Trump, 89%. And this is the inhaler he's talking about. And this really helped those guys with asthma. I mean, if you got asthma, Trump just like low-key looked out for you in your medical bills. So, because yeah, like he said, it was about $458, 89% off, not 800, Trump, but 89%. And now it's at $51. I mean, how can you be upset? You really got to like strain yourself to really hate him for this one.
Discounts for couples struggling with infertility, as EMD Serrano will dramatically cut the cost of its most common IVF drugs. For example, a single dose of the most common IVF drug in the country, Gonal F, will plummet from the highest price in the developed world that we paid. The United States was subsidizing everybody. We paid the highest to the lowest price in the world, which will be demonstrating very shortly. We have some very talented people coming up and showing you how it's going to work and how the website works. All of these discounts and more will be available directly to consumers starting today at trumprx.gov. In just a moment, we will demonstrate how you can go to the website, get a coupon, and pick up your heavily discounted prescription drugs, highest level drugs,
Just like
the
good
highest
RX.
level company, finest in the world, biggest in the world, most powerful drug companies in the world. And we had to go through them. And then we had to get all of these countries worldwide to lower their prices and for us, and help us lower our price. And what they did is, again, their prices went up by double, triple, and even sometimes 4 and 5 times. But the dozens of commonly used drugs available today are just the beginning. 16 of the 17 largest pharmaceutical companies have signed agreements, and the other one is coming. Believe me, they're coming, committing that going forward, all new medicines they bring to the market in the United States will be available at most favored nation prices. For those that don't know, that means in the entire world, most favored, we get the most favored, the lowest price. So if somebody gets a great price, that's great for us because we get it. So this is the exact opposite of what's been happening for the last 30 plus years. This policy, which is a key pillar of the great healthcare plan, is going to bring copays plummeting down and save Americans billions and billions of dollars, making healthcare much more affordable, like at a level that you couldn't believe. In my first administration, I kept drugs pretty even. I thought I was doing a great job, but this is really the great job. There's never been anything like it. Nobody thought it was possible to get it done. It's the biggest thing to happen in healthcare, I think, in many, many decades. Under these agreements, the top pharmaceutical companies will also be investing hundreds of billions of dollars to bring drug manufacturing back to America. It's already happening. They're building plants all over the country. Eli Lilly is building 6 plants with billions and billions of dollars each, which means jobs,
All right,
economic
guys.
growth, factory opening.
So yeah, pretty much this is a good what was it? GoodRx.com. So let me tell you the connection here, because GoodRx continues to offer deep discounts for up to 89% on prescription and actively updates prices, which fluctuates regularly based on pharmacy and pharmacy locations and demand. As of February 2026, they are partnering with the new Trump RX platform to provide discounts, self-pay prices, and brand named medications. So pretty much Good RX is going to reflect the same thing that Trump RX is reflecting. And the reason why is because, well, you got to get competition. So if you look at Good RX right now, they're reflecting the same pricing as, well, TrumpRx.gov. So this is pretty much what's going down in the background between these guys. And shout out for starting. Sorry, guys. I'm not really feeling too well today, but shout out for starting us off, Couture. Appreciate the support, sis. Hey, and she says, is this for people who don't have insurance, or the insurance doesn't have to pay for brand names? I believe this is the people who don't have insurance. I think it's this one because they're paying out of pocket. Now, actually, you know what? You know who'd be better for this? My man Monty. Yo, Monty, I'm about to bring you up. He's like, send me that link. I just got my studio set up for camera. All right, I got you. But all right, I'm gonna get you that answer.
And far greater national security, and it's really a big factor was the tariffs. We're charging very substantial tariffs for companies that don't want to make their drugs or pharmaceuticals and automobiles and other things. If they don't want to make them in the United States, they have to pay very big penalties in the form of tariffs. And what that means is they're all coming here. Every industry is coming here. We're taking in more than $18 trillion into the United States because of tariffs. Companies, the only way they can avoid them is to build here. They avoid paying the tariff. Now, they've been doing that, countries, to us for 30 years. That's how we lost so much business. They were drying up our country. We were losing factories. We were losing jobs like nobody's ever seen for many, many years. And now it's all been reversed, and we've never had a period.
Oh, and shout out to Monty. Says, send me that link. I got you, dog. I just sent you that link. But all right, let's get right back into it, guys. And let me make sure I didn't miss nothing.
Is coming here. We're taking in more than $18 trillion into the United States because of tariffs. Of companies, the only way they can avoid them is to build here. They avoid paying the tariff. Now, they've been doing that, countries, to us for 30 years. That's how we lost so much business. They were drying up our country. We were losing factories.
Yo, Monty, how's it going?
What's up, dude? So to answer Couture's question, it is almost, it's just like you nailed it on the head. It's just like Good RX, except these prices and whatnot are direct to consumer prices from the manufacturer. So it sounds like they're just trying to completely go around the insurance industry as a whole, because depending on what your copay is, the prices of some of these drugs that I was saying might be lower than what your copay is.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you can get some good stuff on there for 80-90% off.
Yeah, I was also looking at them.
They're all what I call vanity drugs. Some of them are pre-diabetic drugs, so they can be used for that purpose. But it's all like GLP-1s, and there's some other medications in there, and some asthma medications, and diabetes, and insulin, and stuff like that. So this is like kind of where they're laying the framework, but it needs buy-in for it to be successful.
Yeah,
and companies are going to need to see that. Yeah, we can continue to make money in spite of it not being $1,000 to get a GLP-1.
and you can see that. And the funny thing is, it does look like this provided competition for Good RX. And now they had to dramatically lower their prices.
Yeah, it's a race. It's a race to the bottom, which is really good for the consumer.
Perfect. And that's what we wanted. That's exactly what we wanted with this. And
it's what we deserve, honestly. Like we deserve to have favored nation pricing.
Yeah, man, just like Australia. All right.
Losing jobs like nobody's ever seen for many, many years. And now it's all been reversed, and we've never had a period. This is the wealthiest our country has ever been. We have hundreds of billions of dollars a year pouring in, and we're taking advantage of it. I want to give a special thanks to Airbnb co-founder, and now, much more importantly, the Chief Design Officer of the United States, Joe Gebbia, and the entire team at the National Design Studio. They're unbelievably talented people. This group of geniuses could be doing anything right now. They could have been making a big fortune out there, but they decided they want to be with the government and do exactly what you're going to see tonight, and also some other things having to do with our country. And I want to thank Joe. With their help, our American by Design initiative will fully transform our most dated federal systems and services, providing Americans the richest, most beautiful, and most user-friendly government experience in the entire world. We have the greatest designers in the entire world, and they're with our country. They love our country. That's why they're doing it. So now I'd like to invite Administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, an incredible guy, a really brilliant man, Dr. Mehmet Oz, to show us how the beautiful new website works. And Dr. Oz, come on, and let's see what you can tell us. Thank you. By the way, everybody, you're going to save a fortune. And this is also so good for overall healthcare. And Oz, you've done a fantastic job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So you demanded, President demanded, that we have most favored nation drug pricing, which he explained beautifully. Today, you can now get access to these discounted, steeply discounted prices. All the hard work the president and the administration have done now is yours, but you have to go check trumprx.gov. So if you have access, please log on right now. It's free. You get to look at all the prices, and you should not be buying drugs anymore going forward without at least checking to see if those medications are available at these discounted prices on trumprx.gov. That stated, Mr. President, many people don't appreciate this, but one of the most special things you've been able to do, besides negotiating these kinds of deals, is bringing wonderful people around you who can actually fulfill the dream of making drugs accessible so Americans no longer suffer that affordability issue. 1 in 3 Americans are turned away from the drugstore. They can't afford the drugs. No more. Our most vulnerable are protected. To do that, you need brilliant software engineers. And Ed Korstein led a wonderful group that you hired. Folks, again, would never normally have come to the government to work to make this possible. And Joe, just a superstar, and he's going to take us through the website.
Thanks, Dr. Oz. Mr. President, I've launched some big websites, and this is one I think you're going to be very proud of. So you mentioned Gonal-F. I think this is an interesting drug that we can check and see how do you find a drug on the site. So we'll pull up the website here. This is trumprx.gov. And I'm going to start at the search bar where I can search by the drug name. So I type in Gonal-F, and I see it autocompletes. When I click on this, I have a beautiful page that shows the drug product. And right at the top, I see this is 83% off the original price. Now, how do I get this discount? I take this coupon and I bring it to the pharmacy. I can print it out. I can add it to my wallet on my phone, whether it's an Apple or an Android. I show it to the pharmacist and I get the coupon credit right at the register. Now, this is an intelligent site. We know that there's other drugs that are commonly prescribed along with this. So we surface them here and they work with the same coupon. Okay, next.
Oh,
wow. You go to get this drug. It's a smart
That's
site.
pretty cool.
Exactly where you can go to get this.
no,
Now,
that's cool.
Gonal-F is a specialty drug.
So like generics?
I can call
so.
any one of these pharmacies and they deliver
No,
it
yeah,
straight
right,
to
it's
my
right
home.
here.
It's that simple.
So it's just like Good RX.
Yeah. Like, and the one thing I just, just do our own little test run. Yeah, right here. You want the tablet, all that good stuff. Here's your pricing. Here's your coupon. Add it to your wallet. I mean, widely supported at retail pharmaceuticals at the okay, well, for that one. So yeah, looks to be working the same way.
And 3 families having trouble having a baby. We're going to have a lot of Trump babies with these costs. Folks cannot afford medications. It's going to change their lives. Now, this is the tip of the iceberg because Joe did a lot more with Ed and the rest of the National Design Studio.
That's
How many
right.
more medications do you have?
Well, the website launches with over 40 medications, ones that are the popular medications and ones that were previously very expensive. These are things like asthma inhalers, the GLP-1s. And on TrumpRx, you can actually find things like the weight loss shots and also new form factors like the weight loss pill. Let's click on this and see the discount for the pill. 89% off the original price. As you mentioned, Americans for the first time are getting the lowest cost price drugs like the rest of the world is. And we're not done. We're adding more and more drugs week over week. So going forward, it's an invitation to the nation to check trumprx.gov anytime you get a prescription.
Mr. President, we're breaking news. This weight loss shot that you've talked about a lot, this is a weight loss pill. And with these pills, which are actually even less expensive than the shots, we project that America will lose about 100 million pounds this year, which is going to make not only folks a lot healthier, but a lot easier to manage when they do get ill.
I'm on a GLP-1.
You are to the plight of folks, young couples trying to have children. And that first medication, one of the first ones we did most favored nation drug pricing on, has helped an immense number of folks. But the first person to use trumprx.gov to buy Gonal-F is here. And I wanted to introduce her to you, if you don't mind. Catherine's with us. Oh, perfect. Secretary Kennedy's going to escort her.
Good evening. I'm incredibly honored to be here tonight. I'm a military spouse, and my husband and I have been navigating infertility and IVF for 5 years, a journey that has included profound loss. Through that experience, we have come to understand how critical access to affordable fertility medication truly is. Medications like Gonal-F and access to them have been essential to our treatment and to our hope of success. IVF demands extraordinary physical and emotional strength. But for so many families, the financial burden can be just as heavy and at times overwhelming. The President's leadership on price transparency and on reducing the costs of medications, some of which are essential in my fertility treatments, has a real and immediate impact. Families like ours, it can mean the difference between being able to continue treatment or having no choice but to stop. These efforts help ensure that IVF remains within reach for families who are doing everything that they can to build a future. Families who should not have to choose between financial stability and the chance to have a child. For that commitment and leadership, we are greatly thankful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, Oz and everybody, I want to thank you for the job, Joe. What a job you do. Bobby is back here who.
Now, if I remember straight, didn't he allow fertility drugs to be covered by insurers? Or would that have
Yes.
been allowed? Okay, yeah. Okay, that's why I think that was the major big thing he did to fertility drugs. I was like, all right, that's clutch. Because it usually I used to remember did come all out of pocket. So
And
shout
that
out.
should be out of pocket. If abortions are covered, fertility should be covered.
Literally, I mean, bro, if you can get insurance to cover taking out a life, you should get insurance to promote life. So, hey, fair is fair.
He's so instrumental. He's doing such a fantastic job. Who would have thought of Kennedy? We love the Kennedy and the Republican Party, but there's been no better advocate for what we're doing than Bobby Kennedy Jr. So I just want to leave you with this. You're going to save tremendous amounts of money. Go to the site. We have many of them, and in a very short period of time, we'll have just about all of them, and they'll be available for differences of 5, 6, 700%, even in some cases more than that. We're tired of subsidizing the world. We have to put America first. If you think about it, that's exactly what we're doing. We want to take care of everybody, but we have to put America first. So this is going to have a huge impact on healthcare. No matter which plan they come up with, drugs and prescription drugs, they form a big part. And now you're going to be getting those drugs at numbers, not with a 1 or 2 or 10% discount, but think of it, 80%, 90% in some cases, numbers that nobody's even thought possible. So I just want to thank our entire team. They have so many people here that have worked so hard. And again, Joe and Oz and Bobby, thank you very much. Great job. And congratulations to you and all that money you're saving. Okay. Thank
And
you.
all righty, now let's go ahead and get over to that press conference with Caroline Levitt. Let's go ahead and get right into it.
Wow, we have a very packed room here today. Thank you all so much for showing up and for joining. I apologize for the delay. The president and I were watching the press conference about the search for Savannah Guthrie's mother, which is just a heartbreaking situation. The president, as you all know, spoke directly with Savannah yesterday and told her that the federal government is here to help. Any requests that are made by state and local officials in the search of Miss Guthrie will absolutely be accommodated. I spoke with the FBI directly about that today as well. And our hearts and our prayers are with Savannah and her entire family as they search for her dear mother. I also have a quick scheduling announcement for all of you. Tonight at 7 p.m. during prime time, President Trump, Dr. Oz, and National Design Studio Director Joe Gebbia will officially unveil Trump RX, a state-of-the-art website for American consumers to purchase low-cost prescription drugs. This historic announcement will save millions of Americans their hard-earned money, so make sure to tune in.
Oh, and if you don't know about Gutfrey, hopefully I didn't F up her name, but yes, the 84-year-old mother of today's show's co-host, Savannah Gutfrey, is the subject of an urgent ongoing investigation after she was reported missing from her Tucson, Arizona home on February 1st, 2026. Authorities believe she was abducted. Well, with evidence of her blood found at her residence and a ransom note received by media outlets.
Jesus.
Hey, yo. Ransom note, several media outlets received a ransom note demanding millions in Bitcoin. Damn. Yeah, that makes sense. Man, that's one thing that's bad about crypto. You can now kidnap people and get your money without it ever being tracked, which authorities are treating seriously. Damn. All right, well, keep her in your prayers, guys.
Tonight, and we will see all of you in the news media there. President Trump promised to restore law and order to the United States of America, and newly released data proves he is delivering overwhelmingly on this promise. A study from the Council on Criminal Justice shows that the murder rate across America's largest cities plummeted in 2025 to its lowest level since at least 1900. Again, let me repeat, to put this in perspective, this marks the largest single-year drop in murders in recorded history. This dramatic decline is what happens when a president secures the border, fully mobilizes federal law enforcement to arrest violent criminals and aggressively deports the worst of the worst illegal aliens from our country. The numbers don't lie. Under President Trump in 2025, the FBI increased violent crime arrests by 100% compared to the prior year. The FBI also conducted more than 67,000 arrests from Inauguration Day 2025 to January 20th, 2026, which is 197% more arrests than the same period previously. The FBI also disrupted 1,800 gangs and criminal enterprises, a 210% increase from the year prior. The FBI has arrested 1,700 child predators and more than 300 human traffickers across the country. Since President Trump took office, 6 of the—
Oh God, do me a favor and double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Let's get more people on that conversation by double tapping that screen. Appreciate the support.
FBI's top 10 most wanted fugitives have been captured. Right here in our nation's capital, where you all live, so you know it well, whether you choose to report it or not, the president's efforts to make DC safe and beautiful have worked. As of last week, DC homicides were down 62%. Motor vehicle theft down 53%. And 2025 had the fewest violent gun crimes of any year of available data in our nation's capital. For more proof that these tough on crime efforts are working, look at the president's Make Memphis Safe Again campaign. As of last week, there have been nearly 5,600 arrests made, and aggravated assaults are down 53%. Sexual assaults are down 53%, and robberies are down 70%. Again, that's just in the city of Memphis. 5,600 arrests have taken place because of this president and his Homeland Security task force that has surged into Memphis at the request of both the governor and the mayor in that city.
And the reason why this will get no real media coverage is because, well, one, they don't like Trump, and two, because, well, they'll just bring up the Epstein files.
And in order to give it any honest coverage, they'd have to admit that they were wrong. And
yeah,
that's the Democratic thing, that they're wrong. The silence.
Yeah, and the worst part about it is, like, look, there was all this improvement across the board when it comes to crime statistics. Absolutely. And that has not gotten any coverage. And I can respect it. You know, I respect it if y'all would at least cover this and harp on the Epstein stuff. But it just seems like, I'm gonna be real with you, and I get it. I kind of get it. Because Epstein is going to overshadow any accomplishment that goes on right now, and it sucks, but that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
Mayor, I will add, these are the results that can happen when Democrats and Republicans, when the federal government and state and local officials work together. And that's what Trump wants to see to improve public safety across our country. When you have a leader like President Trump who empowers good cops to be cops and to arrest bad criminals, American communities will become safer. Many of the media outlets in this room have expressed shock and confusion at these remarkable statistics. The New York Times declared that, quote, "No one knows for sure what's behind the staggering drop in the murder rate. The reason is very clear. It is President Trump's leadership and his unwavering commitment to law and order."
That's disingenuous as fuck.
Nobody
knows. Like, really? Are you sure? Like, were there any changes that were made? Like, I don't know, maybe a change in leadership in the FBI. Like, come on now. Like, I get it. The man hasn't really did too well when it came to the Epstein list, and he ain't did too well when it came to deep state arrest. But he's knocking them down when it comes to locking up, you know, these murders and pedophiles and all that good stuff. He's knocking it down on that note. He may not be getting all the deep state goons that we want and all the guys in the Epstein files, but he is cleaning up the streets. Now, maybe we do need to clean up of Congress and the Senate as well, but I mean, come on, guys. We got to take our wins when we can. But this is extremely disingenuous, though. Like, what's behind the staggering drop in the murder rate? No one knows. Okay.
We could
drop in crime
never
is more
know.
Proof that all that is required to improve public safety on our streets is a leader with the will to do what is necessary to protect law-abiding American citizens. The terror and chaos that was unleashed under Democrat rule is a choice. It's a choice to put violent criminals ahead of innocent Americans, a choice to force us all to live in fear because of soft on crime, liberal politicians, prosecutors, and judges who lack the basic willingness to do their jobs and put dangerous people behind bars. On November 5th, 2024, the American people made a resounding choice that they've had enough of that, and that's precisely why they reelected President Trump. So even as Democrats and the liberal media are engaged in hysteria about this administration arresting and deporting violent, criminal, illegal aliens, the undeniable truth is that deporting these individuals is one of the primary reasons why America's streets are safer today than they were 1 year ago when President Trump assumed office. Former President Biden and the Democrats left our borders wide open, and President Trump and the brave men and women of ICE are removing these dangerous criminals. So here are just a few recent examples. Number one, a Venezuelan national and active Tren de Aragua gang member with a rap sheet including homicide, assault, child cruelty, domestic violence, and property damage. This is an individual I can assure you not a single one of you in this room would want in your neighborhood, whether you admit it or not.
We're protecting our neighbors. We're protecting our undocumented brothers and sisters. Like this guy here.
Jesus.
Like I said, y'all know y'all doing two things at once when you guys protest against ICE, or not protest, but obstruct ICE. You're right. You are protecting the undocumented immigrants who didn't do no crime, but coming in here illegally. But you're also protecting guys like these at the same time. Remember that.
He entered the U.S. in 2022, and he was released into our country by the Biden administration. He is no longer here, thanks to President Trump. An El Salvadorian national and known MS-13 associate, previously convicted of homicide, conspiracy to commit homicide, and kidnapping, arrested for arson, battery, armed carjacking, and assault. He entered illegally in 2016, was released by the Obama administration, and ICE just arrested him on January 8th, 2026. This example shows you how many criminal illegal aliens have been roaming American streets freely because of a lack of attention to this matter from the previous administration, and President Trump is cleaning up their mess. A Cuban national and blood gangs member convicted of multiple homicides and robbery. ICE arrested him on October 27th and removed him on January 6th, 2026. Arresting and deporting these types of illegal criminals is precisely what the American...
They pick our crops, though.
I mean, and they picking up your kid in that minivan. I mean, bro. But apparently, though, they don't care. They don't care, bro. It's so wild when you see stuff like this, and they still will sit there and try to fight for illegals being in here, not knowing that, because you guys have this, I don't know, longing for illegals to stay in this country. Guys like this can, kind of slip inside the community and hide in there, amongst people who aren't supposed to be here already. And then as we're trying to get these guys out, I mean, you guys kind of champion what? These undocumented immigrants who are not supposed to be here. And then here's the problem. You champion these guys, but then you demonize ICE. The people are upholding law, but champion the guys who are breaking the law. And then when we show you that there's actual, pedophiles, murderers, gang members among them, you kind of just turn your face like, oh, I don't see anything here. Nothing at all. I'm like, okay. I mean, this is why ICE is heavy in Minneapolis. It's for situations like this. This is exactly why.
I want to make a comment on Mr. Marcus Allen. Posse Comitatus has been nixed. We've got a police state. Operation Lockstep. We are right on time. Do you know what Posse Comitatus is? It's when the military is in the street. It's when the Insurrection Act has been called. So don't know what you're talking about, bud. Go back to 7th grade civics.
You stupid.
People voted for. And despite desperate recent attempts by Democrats and those in the media to undermine the president's deportation agenda, these efforts are failing. Brand new Harvard-Harris polling shows overwhelming support for President Trump's efforts to protect law-abiding citizens from criminal illegal aliens. Nearly 8 in 10 Americans say criminal illegal aliens should be deported. A solid majority also support deporting all illegal aliens, regardless of additional crimes. And more than 2 in 3 Americans back the Trump administration's common sense requirement that state and local officials cooperate with federal authorities and work to hand over criminal illegal aliens in local jails for swift deportation. Finally, to prevent another invasion of millions of illegal aliens from happening again, President Trump and Secretary Noem delivered the most secure border in American history. 0 illegal aliens were released into our homeland over the past 9 months. This is a truly remarkable achievement. Again, 0 illegal aliens released into the country in 9 months. This is staggering, and it deserves more attention from all of you. Overall, Customs and Border Protection recorded the lowest total encounters in agency history. Daily encounters have fallen by 95%, averaging just 250 apprehensions at the southern border a day. This is compared to over 5,100 daily apprehensions during the Biden years. It's a night and day difference because we finally have a president who enforces the law and lets our law enforcement do their noble jobs of protecting our homeland. When President Trump campaigned on making America safe again, this is exactly what he meant, and the numbers and the results speak for themselves. With that, I will open it up to questions today. We're going to start with Daniel Baldwin from One America News, who is here religiously covering the White House beat every day. So it's good to see you in a chair instead of standing up today, Daniel. Thanks for being here, and why don't you kick us off?
Thank you, Caroline. It's an honor and a privilege to represent One America News in the new media seat. First question on the DHS funding bill. Funding runs out in the better part of 8 days or so. Democrats, at least verbally, are very dug in. What does the White House believe their end goal is when it comes to this funding fight, when it comes to immigration policy at large? What is their end goal when they're dug in a position like this at this point in time?
Well, the president has 2 end goals. One is to obviously keep the government funded and open, and that includes the Department of Homeland Security, which does not just touch upon ICE and Border Patrol, but also FEMA, the United States Coast Guard, the United States Secret Service.
So, yeah, and bro, Monty, did you hear about that? What the Dems were saying, that because they can't touch ICE, because they can't defund ICE, because ICE's funding has already been approved throughout 2026.
They're just gonna nix DHS funding, which
wow, childish.
That's it, bro. Jinx.
I know. I was low-key upset. I was like, are you serious? Like, they have nothing to do with, like, we know you're mad at ICE. These guys, FEMA, Coast Guard, have nothing to do with them, but you're going to go ahead and axe their funding?
Because never let a good tragedy go to waste. I think it was Rush Limbaugh that coined that term. That is what the Democrats follow. If there is public support or public sentiment in any direction and there's any emotion attached to it, let's use that at the risk of anything. The way they'll frame this is Republicans want to shut down FEMA. Republicans want to shut down the Coast Guard. Republicans want to shut down all these programs that keep us safe because they want to keep their funding for their Gestapo ICE.
Well, thank God I've been doing all this research, because I got clipped for days to disprove that one. I mean, think about Chuck Schumer, and was right on stage going like, yeah, we're gonna stop funding the DHS. Republicans didn't say that. Nope, they didn't say that.
Republicans didn't shut the government down last time either. The five Democrats that
yeah, that's true.
But how did that get framed? How did that get framed? Republicans.
You're right. They were getting bro. Oh, this was their main argument. Well, who runs the House, the Senate, and the executive branch? Like, are you serious? That was probably the most idiot. You're right, Monty, because they had some pretty dumb arguments for that,
and people bought it. I can't tell you how many people in real life took that and said, oh yeah, Republicans control everything, so they're the ones shutting down the government. Republicans control everything, so they're the ones shutting down FEMA. Republicans control everything, so they're the ones shutting down the Coast Guard. Republicans control everything, and then. It doesn't matter how much logic you imply. It doesn't matter how much anything. There are useful idiots that will believe it, that don't do the research. They'll never see this video. They'll never hear you talk about it. And if they do, they'll just call you a bootlicker.
Well, that man, look, like I said, I speak to the 1% who actually will listen. And because in all actuality, I mean, let's be real. It's not the way they think it is. So that's why I always like to straighten it out. Some people will listen and look it up for themselves. Some people will just have their TDS and keep it pushing.
Yeah, you're never going to get to the TDS folks, but
I mean,
These are brave public servants who work to protect our homeland. The president wants these individuals to get paid. Secondly, when it comes to any discussions about immigration policy, the president is never going to waver in his commitment to allow immigration enforcement efforts in this country and to support ICE and Border Patrol and the deportation of illegal alien criminals. I know Senator Schumer and Leader Jeffries sent over a very long list of demands, some of which the administration is willing to discuss. Others don't seem like they are grounded in any common sense, and they are non-starters for this administration. But we're not going to negotiate policy from the podium. I'm going to allow the president to do that, and any final decisions that are made will be made ultimately by him. But rest assured, he is never going to allow law enforcement in the jobs that they do, the important jobs that they do, to be undermined.
And secondly, Caroline, the Department of Homeland Security put out a tweet a better part of an hour ago alleging that an illegal alien was involved in a major car wreck in Indiana, killing 4 people. And they allege that the suspect in question came in under the CBP-1 app under the Biden administration and received a commercial driver's license from the state of Pennsylvania. What is the White House's reaction to a situation like this? And what is the White House doing to crack down on cases like this where illegal aliens are obtaining commercial driver's licenses?
Yes, this is another abhorrent example of the border crisis over the past 4 years. And it again exemplifies why the administration must continue.
No, because I actually kind of like this, Lib. Like Cheese Curve. Wait, we do know it was Customs and Border Patrol, and it was some Hispanic. It was two Hispanic dudes. You didn't know that?
Who shot?
That's, what's crazy that, like, bro, they still don't know who shot Alex Preddy when it came out already.
Two Mexicans shot Alex Preddy.
Yeah, and it wasn't ICE. It was Customs Border Patrol.
That's not policing. That's a Gestapo.
It's like, I mean, come on, man.
You don't even understand the English language correctly to use the correct modifiers in sentences. That's a Gestapo. Gestapo is a plural term.
It's a group. But all right, let's get back to go look it up, bro. Just go look it up. Like, yeah, actually, you know what's crazy? What was it? It was a whole bunch of girls literally like going gaga over the guy. I was weak. Because it was like it was funny. It was just funny. And you know what they called it? You know what they called it, bro? Diverse fascism.
What?
Yeah, I know, right?
So in other words, it's not the actions that are fascist. It's not the people that are fascist. It's if you disagree with me, you're fascist. Diverse fascism? Really?
Diverse fascism.
So you literally lose the argument so far that you have to push it to that.
Exactly. Diverse fascism. I'm just like, and then it was like, oh, well, he don't know that he's next. And I mean, like, I don't know if you next working for ICE, bro. I think you pretty good. You on the right side of history at this point.
Jesus Christ.
But, I mean, you're dog. Bro, a whole lot of stuff has came out. I mean, bro, they got these protesters calling the black ICE officers the hard R.
Bro.
The N-word with the hard R. I was like, hey, yo.
They dropped it like someone gave them that pass to drop it.
I was so surprised. I was like, well, you know what? Not really. Because of how these guys in the chat be. But just to say it, like, bro, they said it with their chest.
Y'all are so wrong. Just parroting lies. Okay, bud. Go steal some more cheese curds. Cheese curd bandit.
I got you.
Want the binky?
And we'll always.
But I got you. No, I'm gonna go ahead and find that video actually, because that was crazy.
Continue to fully back and support ICE and Border Patrol and law enforcement in their removal of illegal alien criminals from our country. For those who don't know, and all of you should report on it, 4 Americans were tragically killed and lost their lives this week yet again from an illegal alien, an individual who was paroled into the country by the Biden administration using the CBP-1 app, which they created like it was a magic pass for Disneyland. That's not how immigration in this country should work. And this illegal alien from Kyrgyzstan was traveling on an Indiana highway and he failed to brake for a slowed semi-truck.
This guy, I guess you think that this is relevant. So ProPublica released the names, not CBP. Where do you think they got the names from, dum-dum?
Who knows?
in front of him. He swerved into the lane and he crashed into a van carrying 15 passengers, and 4 people were killed in that crash. This is another tragedy that could have been prevented if not for the wide open borders from the previous administration. That's why we now have a secure border. That's why this administration will continue to deport illegal aliens from our country. Thank you for being here. Garrett.
John, thank you for your comments and your prayers for the Guthrie family. I have 2 questions related to the president's interview with NBC yesterday.
Sure.
At one point in the interview, the president said that he believes states are accumulating the votes for who wins the election. He says if they, meaning the states, can't do it honestly and can't be done properly and timely, then something else has to happen. What did he mean by that? Is he suggesting that the federal government count votes in elections?
What the president is suggesting, and I just spoke to him about this, is that Republicans and Democrats in Congress should pass the Save America Act. This piece of legislation is going to ensure that states are abiding by federal election law by removing non-citizens from their voter rolls. In addition, the Save America Act will require voter ID to vote, and it will require proof of citizenship to register to vote. These are very
which is controversial. Is that controversial?
I was just about to touch on that. I don't know enough about where states' rights fall into electing the president. However, I will make a comment on how I think it should go. And personally, why is it that a state that refuses to follow basic guidelines and basic understandings of law, why do they get to go and hold elections that they can't secure, that we're just constantly being told, oh, they're the most secure elections ever, blah, 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 blah. What is there to steal it? You don't have the right to vote if you're not a U.S. citizen. That's federal law. I do know that. You don't have the right to vote if you're an illegal immigrant. You don't have the right to vote, yada, 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 and so on and so forth. So who maintains all that? I'm going to trust the federal government, who has we don't want illegal immigrants in our country, a little bit more than I'm going to trust the state of California that, does their darndest to make sure illegals get the same rights as citizens. They don't have those rights. They don't participate in our democracy. Therefore, they should not be counted. They should not be counted for purposes of giving electors. They should not be counted for purposes of House seats. None of
I'm just going to say it as simple as this. If you do not support voter ID, if your politician don't support voter ID, bro, I would question every election y'all ever had at that point.
It's like, what, 3/4 of the country want voter ID?
Yeah, but it's not enforced, bro. It's common sense. Like, why wouldn't you do this? And why are you even trying to bring up states' rights? What about election integrity?
If you want to make it such an issue that you need a fucking ID to get on Pornhub, then you need an ID to vote. I'm sorry.
Literally, bro. And we're talking about something important as voting, choosing our leaders, and you don't need voter ID. You don't have to identify yourself as a citizen, really? God. That's crazy. Come on now. That should just be obvious of what's going on there. But I mean, if you want to use the racist argument of, well, they don't know how to access their IDs, I'm like,
76% of African Americans support voter ID, just for the record.
Yeah. But let's go to
not racist.
But let's get into a little bit of rage bait, since people like to say I do that.
Families should be that kind of energy. We should rip people apart from their families.
Are you a man?
Wow, is that a question?
Wow.
Yes. Even the subtitles knew it was a question.
Sir, I need to move.
House nigga, where's your fucking
Why
are you calling a woman a man?
Why are you calling a black man a nigger? A house one at that. And you're white saying that. Hold on. Do we just forget the racial slur that just got thrown out over misgendering?
Who was it? Paula Dean that got canceled for saying that?
Yeah. But bro, that is wild. Why'd you misgender him? I mean, hold on. Did I not just get called the N-word with a hard R? Hold up here. I thought y'all cared about that.
Why are you calling a woman a man? I mean, what kind of a guy does that?
We fucking house nigga,
fucking neighbor.
Go look for your fucking slave.
I love this guy.
Gives him the middle finger. I like it.
A warning for what, sir? A warning for what? Because
What?
yes, and we're allowed to film you doing those law enforcement operations. We still have a First Amendment, sir.
Follow them around the
We are not
city.
impeding your operations. We're merely filming them.
Pause.
Like, yeah, you are
Pause.
impeding their operations.
Pause. Look how scared ICE is making the population. So scared that they're willing to get right up behind the car and record it.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, that's a really effing good point. Yo, they're so scared, but they're like, they can run up to these guys, run up on their windows, but they're oh so scared. This is the Gestapo. Because last time I checked, you got in the Gestapo's face. That was an easy way to get a bullet in your head. So I'm sorry, but once again, y'all lose me on the comparison. Crazy.
We're press. We can follow you and film you. We have a right to. Are you trying to get rid of the First Amendment?
And then they're gonna lie talking about they press. But
Stand
trust
by.
me,
I got a video to send you from the Vancouver Police Department.
oh no, this
I gotta go find it.
What? Nigga, you're next! You're next, nigga! What you? What the fucking mouth? I don't want shit! Fuck you! It's a shit! Fuck you! Show me, bitch!
white girl saying that too. She said it with her chest.
What? Nigga, you're next! You're next, nigga!
And I always do say, man, my fellow Dems, is this really what y'all standing on? Do y'all really stand with this type of language being used towards black ICE officers? Because y'all can just drop the whole MAGA is racist forever at this point. At this point, you guys have no arguments unless you're just saying, oh, well, it's okay to be racist towards black people unless they're in, if they're conservative. Like, is that what you're saying now? It's okay to be racist to conservative black people. Because just say it out loud. But remember, just you forever lose the argument on saying MAGA is racist. But please, just tell us the truth, because you got some of your homies out here kind of saying it out loud for us.
Pull the video I just sent you up in Discord up. It's like 2 minutes long. It's hilarious. It's not funny, but it's hilarious that we're at this point that people are so stupid.
Gotcha.
I'm Vancouver Police Chief Troy Price with a very important message regarding a dangerous trend involving members of the public interfering with our specialty units, most specifically our SWAT team and our crime reduction unit. Members of the public have been following, yelling at, demanding identification, and engaging with our officers as they travel and at locations where they are working to arrest high-risk and often armed suspects.
Same thing ICE is doing, for the record.
For apprehending some of the most violent offenders in our community, and the work they do is already extremely dangerous.
Protecting people.
Drawing attention to them increases the danger for everyone. We have seen in other jurisdictions and locally where federal agents have worn uniforms and have equipment similar to our SWAT team or crime reduction unit. Here is an example of what the Southwest Washington Regional SWAT team members wear and what our crime reduction unit detectives wear.
Hey, you imagine the patches? There's no badge. There's no identification. Well, what about the patches right there? You don't recognize that? Because they don't always have the badge. They have patches as well.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I said too. It's like, they have this big old thing like ICE right there across their chest. It's like right there. You can kind of see the tactical vest. Yeah, you see all this here, but yet, I don't know if that's ICE or not. I don't know. I didn't know that was police. Okay.
Bro, but the fact that he has to say this, I when I heard them saying, "Oh, can't we follow you?" I thought about this guy because he's right. It makes them unsafe when you have a whole fucking posse of press coming up behind what is supposed to be a covert mission to apprehend dangerous people. You are essentially giving everybody in the neighborhood heads up. When criminals have heads up, if they're conducting an operation that covertly and you go and blow it open, you have just put them in danger.
Man, and guys, let's make sure to double tap that screen, like the video, guys. You have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements for us? Just $2 and up. We'll be happy to read it out loud. And if it's a disagreement, we'll be happy to read it out loud and look into it.
They're going after these people because they think that they're ICE, and it's just an excuse to be lawless. But continue. It gets worse.
Oh man! All right, let's go.
That's the crime reduction unit. Looks very similar.
Please note the words Vancouver on the outer carrier or shoulder patch. Also, their vehicles, including armored vehicles, are clearly marked as belonging to the Vancouver Police Department. There may also be unmarked vehicles involved in these operations. Distractions, including yelling or drawing attention to the officers as they conduct these dangerous missions, puts the officers, suspects, and innocent bystanders in immediate physical danger. These actions ultimately compromise my mission to keep Vancouver safe. Depending on the circumstances, such actions may be in violation of state law and could result in your arrest. I cannot make myself clearer. Do not interfere in the work of law enforcement officers while they are in the middle of an incident. Let us do our jobs so we can protect this community. Thank you.
Damn, Monty, that's how they really gotta tell it to y'all down there in Southwest Washington,
bro. Yes, because
that's crazy. I could only imagine what they're doing out there. Then, if that's the case, where bro got to come out and be like, "All right, look, I didn't think I'd have to do this for grown adults, but let me show you what
police officers look like."
Yeah, so not to obstruct them, because what's the main excuse? Oh, I didn't know they were a police officer. Oh no, they're unidentifiable. I'm like,
they don't care that they're bro.
Okay.
This is the same crowd that said defund the police for the last 5 years. This is the same crowd that screams police brutality if they get arrested. This is the same crowd. Like, they don't care. Is any authority over them they reject because they're a bunch of lawless, unaccountable losers.
Man, I'll give you that one.
Common sense policies and proposals that 89% of our country agree with. So that's what the president is talking about. Again, I just spoke with him about this, and he's calling on both Republicans and Democrats to send the Save America Act, to pass it into law and to send it to his desk as quickly as possible.
To be clear, the SAVE Act doesn't say anything about who counts votes, which has always been a state, a local, a county function. Why does he keep talking about somebody else, presumably the federal government, counting votes?
Because the SAVE Act directs states to remove non-citizens from their voter rolls. And we know in states across the country, the president is right to point this out. In states like California or in places like New York City, non-citizens are allowed to vote in state and local elections. And the federal government should absolutely do away with that. I don't think a single person in this room, if you really are being honest with yourselves, should agree that non-citizens should vote in American elections, no matter where that election is up and down the ticket. And so this is a piece of federal legislation that will help states ensure the integrity and the sanctity of their elections. And that's what the president wants. Peter.
Thanks, Caroline. President Trump posted about Nancy Guthrie that he is directing all federal law enforcement to be at the families and local law enforcement's complete disposal immediately. What should we expect to see from the federal government in coming days in the search to find Nancy Guthrie?
It's a very good question, Peter, and it's why I was on the phone with the FBI earlier this morning to ask that. And what they told me is that the FBI, again, is at the disposal of the state and local government. Whatever personnel or assets or resources that the state and local authorities and police need will be granted to them at the direction of the president, the FBI director, and the attorney general.
A different law enforcement issue. The FBI just found 1,000 samples inside an illegal biolab in Las Vegas. It is linked to a different biolab that was previously raided. There are ties to China. What does the president think the CCP might be up to here?
I haven't spoken to him about this specific.
Are we getting ready to have COVID 2.0 right before the midterm so that they can steal this election too?
I mean, bro, I'm gonna be real with you. I have been hearing, like, what was it? Something out of India, some type of virus out of India that they're dealing with, which, I mean, no, I'm not gonna say anything racist right now, but let's just say India isn't the most sanitary place.
Look at the surprise on my face.
Man, it's fucked up, I know, but it's just like, bruh, I'll be real with you. It does kind of sound like I have been hearing through the wild conspiracy theorists that, oh, there might be another pandemic 2025, and it didn't come 2025, so maybe they meant 2026.
Plandemic. Another plandemic.
Oh man, let's see if it happens again. I hope not, but we'll see. And I mean, bro, it'll probably be more severe than last time.
investigation from the FBI, but I'm happy to, and I'm sure he's very glad that this is something the FBI discovered, and we'll make sure anyone who is involved in illegal activity will be held accountable.
And just one more about this weekend. At the Mar-a-Lago Super Bowl party, after the first two quarters, are the TVs going to be on the halftime show with Bad Bunny or the halftime show with Kid Rock?
I think the president would much prefer a Kid Rock performance over Bad Bunny. I must say that. Jennifer.
On the nuclear arms pact, we saw the president's post on that.
Yes.
But can you say, is there a temporary agreement with Russia to stand by the terms of the New START treaty while negotiations are happening?
Not to my knowledge. Again, to your point, Jennifer, I just do want to reiterate exactly what the president said. He wrote just moments ago, the United States is the most powerful country in the world. I completely rebuilt its military in my first term, including new and many refurbished nuclear weapons. I also added Space Force and now continue to rebuild our military at levels never seen before. We are even adding battleships, which are 100 times more powerful than the ones that roamed the seas during World War II. The Iowa, Missouri, Alabama, and others. I have stopped nuclear wars from breaking out across the world between Pakistan and India, Iran and Israel, and Russia and Ukraine, rather than extend New START, a badly negotiated deal by the United States, which I will add was renegotiated under former President Barack Obama, aside from everything else, is being grossly violated. The president wants to have our nuclear experts work on a new, improved, and modernized treaty that can last long into the future. And that's what the United States will continue to discuss with the Russians.
Thank you, Caroline. Sure. Did President Trump himself ever ask DNI Gabbard to head down to Fulton County, Georgia?
The president was asked and answered that question just yesterday. I've seen a lot of the media in this room get very caught up with the semantics of why Tulsi Gabbard is there. I will tell you why, and the president agrees with this, because election security is essential to national security. And as the director of national intelligence, it is a part of Ms. Gabbard's role to make sure that American elections are free of foreign interference.
Yeah, because usually what comes with election interference is foreign interference. They low-key go hand in hand. And like I said, we should know because we're guilty of doing it in other countries. So we kind of know how this rolls. Like,
so we're in a world where on one hand, you can say that the president is colluding with foreign powers to steal our elections. But on the other hand, say that our elections are infallible. So which is it? Is it possible that Trump colluded with Russia, or is it completely preposterous to suggest that and you should be labeled as a conspiracy theorist if you question an election? Which one do you want to go with?
I mean, hey, man, that's a fair question, but there was tripping because Tulsi Gabbard pulled up there, and I'm just like, why are y'all tripping? Let's be real. Usually when we're investigating election fraud, election interference, it usually comes from foreign interference. There are people outside of the U.S. that, well, world leaders who wanted Kamala to win. Let's be real. I mean, yeah, there's people who literally wanted Kamala to win because it was going to make United States weaker. Now it'd be good for them.
Yeah.
So I could see why they would have to go in there and be like, all right, let's see if there's any foreign interference coming from, I don't know, North Korea, Russia, China, etc.
Shout out to Josh. When has a vaccine ever needed 20 boosters?
Hey, nah, Josh is real.
And that American elections are safe and secure. And so the ODNI director is working with the FBI on this effort, and the president wholeheartedly supports both Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard in ensuring that American elections are safe, are secure, and are free of foreign intervention.
Is there any indication that there's foreign influence?
Federal law enforcement's involvement in the search.
Well, excuse me one second. It's the media who has said that there's Russian interference in American elections.
She did it.
Has been saying that for many, many years. So the people, the people in this room, considering that you all said for many years that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help Donald Trump, you should all be very happy that we finally have an administration looking into that, and we'll be happy to keep you posted. Michael.
Hey, yo. Isn't this not what you wanted? You said that Russia interfered with the election, right? Well, all right. This is we can prove that for you guys.
For the record, I have not seen this video. I just when they proposed the question like that, that was my initial like, which is it? Is it foreign interference or is there not foreign interference?
And then she's hitting them with, I mean, well, since you guys were saying it was what Russia helped Trump win, well, you guys should be happy that this is being done. Good point.
Thanks, Caroline. With the FBI's involvement in the search for Nancy Guthrie, now has this search expanded nationwide outside of Arizona? And given Pima County's proximity to Mexico, is this now an international search?
Well, Michael, that would be a question for state and local authorities as they continue to oversee the investigation at this time. Again, the federal government and the FBI have offered any and all resources, but the state and local authorities are still leading the investigation. So I would direct you to them. I'm certainly not in a position to talk about it.
One other question, Caroline.
Sure.
Friday's talks with Iran, they were originally supposed to take place in Turkey. They've now been moved to Oman. Can you tell us the reason for that move?
Look, the president, diplomacy is always his first option when it comes to dealing with countries all around the world, whether it's our allies or our adversaries. And so Special Envoy Witkoff and Jared Kushner will be traveling to Oman for those talks tomorrow, and we will see what comes of those. The president is standing by for an update from them.
Yeah.
Sure, in the pink.
Thank you, Caroline. Cuban leader Miguel Diaz-Canel said today that Cuba would be willing to engage in dialogue with the United States only without pressure, without preconditions, on equal footing and with respect for sovereignty.
My sovereignty. But I mean, no. But here's the problem about that. I mean, bro, it kind of seems like we're about to hit Cuba with the Maduro. We talk nicely, we pretend that we're cool, and then we just kidnap you in the middle of the night. Like, and here's the thing: like, we put the craziest type of squeeze on these guys. We've cut off their supply of oil from Venezuela through us taking it, and then we've gotten Mexico to stop sending oil to them through tariffs, so they've backed down because of that. So yeah, I mean, Cuba's in a very vulnerable position. So that's why I kind of laughed when they said equal footing and sovereignty, because I'm just like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Equal footing you cannot be on. And I wish you could, but that's just not possible in this moment.
His government is denying what President Trump said, that they're all already holding talks. How would you respond to that?
I think the fact.
And shout out to my man Jet. He says almost like Dems knew Tulsi was gonna find something. Like, you know what?
Hey, shout out to Jet. I saw Jet in JD's live earlier.
Hey, shout out to my man Jet.
That the Cuban government is on its last leg and its country is about to collapse. They should be wise in their statements directed towards the president of the United States. But as I just reiterated, the president is always willing to engage in diplomacy. And I believe that's something that is taking place, in fact, with the Cuban government.
Yeah, thank you, Caroline. So the Office of Personnel Management released a final rule today that makes it easier to fire government employees who are not doing their job, basically. Does the president believe that there are people in his government still that are not following his agenda?
That's a good question. I have not asked him about that. I mean, look, it's a very big government, right? There are thousands of people who work for the federal government here in Washington, D.C. This administration has been very much focused on ensuring that we have an efficient and productive workforce for the American taxpayer. There's not a day that goes by where we don't show up and realize we are public servants working on behalf of the American people, and everybody in the federal government best have that mindset or they won't be welcome to work for this administration. So I think it's a good thing that the Office of Personnel Management put this rule out. I think if people aren't doing their jobs, if they aren't showing up for work, if they're not working hard on behalf of this president, they're not welcome to work for him at all.
The New York City mayor is dealing with a $12 billion budget deficit. If he texted President Trump, would the president bail him out?
I'll leave that answer to the president himself, Ed. Kristen, go ahead.
One more follow-up on Deanna Gabbard. You said that the president supports the fact that she was there, but last night when he was asked about it, he said he didn't know why she was there. He didn't say that he directed her. Can you clarify on that? Did she go by herself and he learned later and supports it?
Well, did you look at the full entirety of his response? I was in the room for that NBC interview, Kristen, and he just said exactly what I told you, which is that election security is essential to national security. We need to ensure that our elections are free and are fair and are free of foreign interference. And he spoke about how Ms. Tulsi Gabbard is involved in that effort. So you're taking like the first three words that he said to one question and not looking at his entire response.
On what you said about foreign interference. You talked about 2016 and Russian interference, but what we've learned from these Georgia officials is what was seized by the FBI were ballots from 2020 in this Fulton County election center. Do you have any evidence that there was international interference in the 2020 election in this election center?
Well, what I do have.
Well, guys, let's make sure you double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Make sure to hit that icon up there to subscribe to the channel as well. Appreciate the support. All right, guys, let's keep it going. Oh, and if you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, just $2 and up. I'll be happy to read it out loud, engage with it. All right.
Evidence of, and what the media seems to be undermining is why Tulsi Gabbard is there in the first place. And I would point you again to federal law that clearly assigns the DNI and the office with the statutory responsibility to lead counter intel matters related to election security. This includes assessing risks to election voting systems, software, voter registration databases, and more, and analyzing foreign interference. And the ODNI is responsible for supporting the White House interagency action to secure our elections through intel analysis and vulnerability assessments. And they should be routinely collaborating with agencies like the DHS, the DOJ, and the FBI. So as for that question, it would be better suited to ask the Director of National Intelligence herself in her office. But what I'm telling you is that it is more than appropriate. In fact, it is Tulsi Gabbard's job to ensure that our elections are safe and secure. And that's exactly what she's been doing on the ground in Georgia.
Yeah,
and I don't understand why anyone in this room, considering you're all American citizens, I believe, and like to vote in our nation's elections, should have.
Hey, yo, Monty. Hey, bro, you cooking on Twitter right now.
I saw that. I was just about to say something.
Hey, bro, man, tell them make sure to follow my man Monty, Mr. Paramedic on Twitter, bro. All 364 of you guys. All right. Because Monty helping me carry the stream, man. I appreciate it.
Any problem with that whatsoever.
Thank you, Caroline. The president said that the administration should take a softer approach on immigration enforcement. He's also suggested for months that some migrant workers should be spared from these raids based on what they're doing. Is the administration going to continue to conduct large worksite raids as it seeks to target violent criminals? And can you clarify, is the federal government going to continue doing these deportation operations in blue cities where authorities say they don't want them?
Well, first, again, to the president's answer yesterday, the full context of his answer was that he'd like to see a softer touch, but we are always going to remain tough. That softer touch the president is referring to is that cooperation that is necessary between state and local authorities and federal government authorities to ensure that we can continue deporting illegal aliens from our communities without tons of agents having to go after one illegal alien. If the states and the local governments just turn over their illegal aliens to ICE at jails, as they should be doing, it requires one agent to deport that one illegal alien who can then go on their way to their home country in a peaceful manner. The escalation that we've seen take place in Minnesota is a direct result of the refusal of state and local officials to cooperate with the federal government and with ICE, which has led to these hostile and dangerous environments. And so we don't want that. Again, the president wants direct cooperation, and that's what he was referring to. As for worksite raids, I don't broadcast any future action that may or may not happen from the Department of Homeland Security. But again, the president's focus and the administration's focus is on targeting illegal alien criminals, especially those who have committed heinous crimes in our country, as evidenced by the few illegal aliens that I just shared with you here today.
Will ICE and Border Patrol avoid going to other blue cities where the local officials are saying, we won't work with you, we don't want you here?
Well, first of all, those local officials should be wanting to work with ICE. Why would any official, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, want murderers and predators in your city? It makes zero sense. It's an untenable position. The only reason Democrats are taking that position now is because their entire party platform is just anti-Trump. It makes no sense for the American people. They should be calling this White House. They should be calling Secretary Noem. They should be calling Tom Homan, and they should be saying, we want to work with you to remove the worst of the worst criminals from our city. Please come here. So yes, ICE is going to continue to do their job in cities and communities across the country, but it certainly makes it much easier when we have that level of cooperation and corroboration at the state and local level. In places like Florida, where there has been the arrest of thousands, tens of thousands of illegal alien criminals. None of you talk about that, or none of you hear about that, because these operations are going seamlessly and peacefully. Why? Because there is an intimate cooperation between the state government and the federal government. And that's what the president wants to see in all 50 states. In the whites, yes.
I think you can.
And I mean, that's the problem. That's what makes Minnesota such a special case, because there is no cooperation between the federal and the state, especially at the city level. I mean, like I said, Jacob Fry don't even want to bring out the police. So it's really tough, or it's really hard for me to sit here and hear arguments of the left when they say, oh, ICE is being too rough and too this and that. I'm like, because you're making them do everything. You're making them have to do their investigation, look out for the safety of the protesters, what they're not trained to do, but they're doing it anyway. And things are, and I'm gonna be real with you, there are going to be mistakes when they have to handle too much. And that's not how it's supposed to be. Local police were supposed to be brought in to provide crowd control, or at least the state highway patrol, or you could have brought in the National Guard. Tim Walz could have showed some leadership. And the fact that that wasn't done is why Minneapolis is such a special case. And I promise you, if this was to happen anywhere else in America, you're going to get the same results.
Caroline, over the weekend, President Trump said that he was giving a serious look at endorsing in the Texas Republican Senate primary. We know that Minnesota and Georgia also have competitive, crowded primaries. Is he giving those races a serious look as well?
Well, I'm not allowed to speak from the podium on any future political endorsements the president may or may not make, but I know that he is watching all of these races across the country quite carefully. I won't get ahead of him on any potential endorsements.
John. Thanks a lot, Caroline. Two questions for you about the continuing resolution that the president signed for the Department of Homeland Security. What would be the repercussions for all of the agencies under DHS if no agreement is reached on funding when that deadline approaches next Friday?
Well, there will be grave repercussions for all of those agencies, but more importantly, frankly, for the American people who those agencies serve. And that's exactly what the president and the White House want to avoid. Again, we want to keep the government funded. We want the Department of Homeland Security, of course, to be up and operationalized and continuing as necessary to protect our homeland, to secure our border, to ensure the brave men and women of the United States Coast Guard are getting paid, the brave men and women of the United States Secret Service who protect the president, the vice president, and frankly, all of you in this building every day continue to receive the paychecks that they so well deserve. And so that's why the White House will engage in these talks with Democrats. But again, the president is never going to cave on this administration's core promise to deport illegal aliens from our country.
You said, Caroline, in your statement that there are certain proposals that Democrats are putting up that are non-starters. What are some of those non-starters?
There are a few, and it's a very good question, but I won't negotiate from the podium. I know the White House will be engaged in direct, serious talks with Democrats on this important matter. Natalie.
Thank you. In addition to launching Trump RX tonight, Trump has said that he wants to meet with insurance companies to lower healthcare costs. Do you have any update on when those meetings?
Yes, he does want to meet with insurance companies. That meeting will take place. I don't have an update on when it will be on the schedule, but the purpose of that meeting will be to continue to negotiate with these companies to ensure that more money is going back to the American consumer. And you're all going to see that on full display tonight at 7 o'clock with the formal launch of Trump RX. I'm telling you, this is going to be a very cool and unique event. So everybody really should tune in.
Can you clarify what the president said on the Diego Garcia deal? He said he didn't like it. Now again, he says he's for it.
He spoke with Prime Minister Starmer directly. He understands Prime Minister Starmer's position and he supports it. But as the president reiterated in that statement, of course, the United States reserves the right to protect our assets. We still have a military base, of course, on the island of Diego Garcia. And so the president reiterated to the prime minister and to all of you that the United States will never waver, if necessary, in protecting our assets anywhere in the world, but including on Diego Garcia. And he supports the prime minister's decision. Elizabeth.
Just on that one, Caroline, can I ask you?
Said that he's now seeking.
John, I'll go to you after.
The president said he's now seeking $1 billion from Harvard, considerably more than before. What changed here, and how are negotiations going?
Well, look, this has been an ongoing negotiation and frankly a frustrating negotiation for the president and the administration because we want a deal. And it's very unfortunate that Harvard has dragged its feet in understanding they need to rectify the wrongs and the illegal behavior that took place on their campus over the course of the past several years under the previous administration. And so the president wants a justified deal to correct for that criminal behavior that took place on their campus. He is now demanding $1 billion from Harvard University, and Secretary McMahon will be continuing to lead this negotiation in these talks.
John. Caroline, thank you.
You mentioned some polling earlier that was very compelling on deportations. Rasmussen came out with a poll today, said 75% of Republicans want all illegals deported. It seems like the conversation has shifted again to focusing only on deporting illegal aliens who are criminals. Is the president still committed to deportations of the 20 million illegals that came here under Joe Biden, or are you starting to see that back?
Yes, and the president has always been committed to that, John, but we must prioritize. And the prioritization is on those tens of thousands of convicted criminals whom we know are still roaming our streets. ICE and Border Patrol and DHS have done a phenomenal job of removing tens of thousands of them. Actually, nearly 1 million people have been deported from our country over the past year, 2 million additional self-deportations. So nearly 3 million people have left the United States. But again, as you pointed out rightfully, Joe Biden and the Democrats.
And the way the Democrats spin it is, oh, ICE is doing terrible, only 600,000 deportations. And I'm like, considering the amount of people that self-deported, which is over 1 million, honestly, the Trump administration's plan to get these illegals out of here was pretty fair. I mean, there was the nice way, and there's the easy way and there's the hard way. The easy way was that you went on the app, you self-deported, you took the money, you got out of here, and you had an opportunity to come back. If you didn't take that option, then why should we feel bad for you that ICE is knocking on your door and extracting you and telling you, yeah, it's time to go? I'm sorry, but it's really hard to feel bad for you when you had the nice way presented. FBI, open up! They're at the door.
Democrats allowed approximately 20 million people into our country illegally. So yes, of course, the president is committed to ensuring that America is and always will be a nation of laws.
Thank you, Caroline. Steve Bannon recently said, quote, "We're going to have ICE surround the polls come November." Is that something that the president is considering?
That's not something I've ever heard the president consider, no.
Guarantee to the American public that ICE will not be around polling locations or voting locations in November?
I can't guarantee that an ICE agent won't be around a polling location in November. I mean, that's frankly a very silly hypothetical question. But what I can tell you is I haven't heard the president discuss any formal plans to put ICE outside of polling locations. It's a disingenuous question.
We should, though. I ain't gonna lie. We should.
Pause. Why are Democrats concerned about immigration officers being at polling locations?
I mean, because they know that the illegals are going to pull up and vote.
So I can understand the argument. Oh, people are afraid to go to work because they're illegal. That's an emotional argument. People are afraid to go get groceries because they're illegal. People are afraid to go to school because they're illegal. You do not have the right to go vote as an illegal.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have the right to be here as an illegal.
You don't, but yeah, you definitely, especially, it is a crime for you to be doing that. So why are they concerned again?
Yeah, low key though, low key. And shout out Tove. She says wanted to say hi and good night. Hey, Tove, and good night. She says, gonna piss people off with this joke. If a trans person goes missing, does that mean we should put them in the half and half carton? Damn. Now y'all have a good night. BP BP is so low, so bedtime. All right, shout out Tove.
Also, there's 373 people that are on Twitter right now watching me. What the hell? Where'd you guys come from?
That's what I'm saying. Hey, bro, Elon loves you, bro. Hey, man, Elon loves you, bro. That's all we got. They said, "Oh wait, you're a Tesla user?
Long enough.
Oh, you got the truck? All right, bro. Automatic engagement. I got you, bro."
Caroline, I had two questions.
Make sure you follow my man Monty on Twitter, though, man. I missed the paramedic and on YouTube as well.
I went and I was able to buy that handle. I like my handle didn't used to be Mr. Paramedic, but I was like, if I'm gonna like make one unified thing, and sure enough, I got it, and I was like, oh,
let's fucking go. Official. He's officially Mr. Paramedic.
regarding the DHS. The first one is one of the Democrats' main demands for DHS funding was to demask ICE agents. Is this something that the president is even considering?
Again, this is one of the specific points in the letter that went out by Senate Majority Leader Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. I won't negotiate the individual points from the podium, but it is obviously something the White House will be discussing with lawmakers on Capitol Hill in the coming days.
Is the administration concerned that the shakeup that we're seeing of DHS activity in Minneapolis could potentially embolden different obstructionist protesters around the country as they now have a playbook on how to get ICE out of their cities?
It was again. Here's my man Maine. What's going on, man? He's like, why care if ICE is there? Yeah, that's true. Why care if ICE is there? You made it rhyme a little bit. Illegals don't vote, huh? I mean, that's a good point. I mean, like, why y'all care if ICE is there? I mean, what's the problem?
Don't talk about that.
It's
No,
racist.
because what you saw yesterday with the drawdown of 700 agents only occurred because the condition that the president of the United States set for local states, local counties to turn over illegal aliens to ICE has been met. Near the vast majority of counties, nearly every single county now in Minnesota has made an agreement to notify ICE when they are releasing an illegal criminal from their jail. This is a huge win for the administration. Again, it's a condition the president set out and has been met thanks to the tireless efforts of Mr. Homan. And as for the left-wing agitators who have been illegally obstructing ICE's immigration efforts, we are not letting that behavior go unnoticed or unpunished. In fact, just today, the Department of Homeland Security arrested this individual. He is a self-proclaimed Antifa member who has been threatening, doxing, harassing ICE. He called for the murder of federal law enforcement officers. He encouraged bloodshed in the streets of Minnesota. He proudly acclaimed affiliation with the domestic terrorist organization Antifa. And the Department of Justice, thanks to the great work of HSI and the FBI, was able to locate and arrest this individual.
Oh, I remember
today.
that guy. He was on
we
Twitter
are
saying we
committed
need to
to
get in the
enforcing
streets
our
and be
immigration laws.
ridiculous.
Oh yeah, bro. This guy was on Lefties
who that
Losing
was.
it. Oh shoot, yeah, he made it onto Lefties Losing. We need to go out into the street and harm them. You guys are cowards. You won't leave your families to go out in the street and die.
Yeah,
for ICE to buy ICE.
Also,
Like,
on a side note, I wanna give a shout out to Captain Jerry. He's a veteran. He's an elderly veteran, disabled, and he was at one of the Portland riots. He lives in the building, like across the street from the ICE facility. He was riding around on his little mobility scooter or whatever. I don't know if you can find the video, but this fucking like 400-pound self-proclaimed Antifa enforcer like pushes him down and like knocks him out of his chair. He's got a GoFundMe, or he had a GoFundMe set up. We got his GoFundMe up to like $12,000 the other night, and then GoFundMe took it down because Antifa went and mass reported it. And it was hard to see because it went up so fast, and then he put another give send go up. But I wanted to give him a shout out because that man went through it. He was a 30-year veteran in the Navy. He was a captain, and this is what he has to deal with. So
yeah, shout out to him.
We want that level of cooperation from state and local officials. And if people are illegally obstructing our federal law enforcement operations, if they are targeting, doxing, harassing, and vilifying ICE agents, they are going to be held accountable.
Bro,
like this individual here who
hey, bro, this man Jake Lang just can't stay out of trouble, bro. What? Breaking. Jake Lang got arrested. Yeah, far right arrested after destroying a prosecute ICE sculpture. Wait, what?
What? I mean, if it's destruction of personal property, whatever. But that's
petty.
He gets arrested for that, but the person that bashed him in the head with a cinder block and stabbed him, nah, they're good.
Nah, yeah, it's like that. Bro just gets to run off into the wind. It's like no charges pressed on him. I mean, like,
so shout out to the guy in my chat right now. He said that the guy that she's holding up looks like that guy looks like personified constipation.
He did have a completely angry face. Like,
Look at his face. Look at it. It's still up on the screen. Look at
Again, is a self-proclaimed member of Antifa. He is a domestic terrorist, and he will be held accountable in the United States.
Caroline, just to follow up on Garrett's earlier question, I mean, you've talked a lot about the SAVE Act. I know you spoke with the president about it before you came out here. The president has gone beyond that, though. He's talking about Republicans taking over elections, states are agents of the federal government. So just to be clear, is the president only calling on Congress to pass the SAVE Act, or does he want Republicans to go further than that before the midterm elections?
The president is calling on Republicans, again, and Democrats to pass the SAVE Act. I will reiterate, requirement for voter ID to vote. That should be something that no American should oppose. In fact, we know that the vast majority of Americans support it. Requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote, which is not hard to do. We should be able to do that in this country. If you want to register to vote in the United States of America, you have to be a citizen in the United States of America. And this piece of federal legislation will direct states to remove non-citizens from the voter rolls. I just had a conversation with the president about it.
Thank you, Caroline. I have two questions. Tariffs on South Korea. As you know, President Trump recently mentioned increasing tariffs on South Korea. When will the 25% tariffs increasing on South Korea begin? Secondly, what impact will this have on national security?
Sure. I don't have a timeline for you on that, but I will make sure that our trade team here at the White House gets you an answer swiftly and promptly. John.
Thank you so much, Caroline. Yesterday, President Trump in the NBC interview said that it
Oh,
bothered
and shout out to my man Jetty says, Dems, y'all love the mask under Biden. What the fuck happened? I mean, yeah, guys, ICE could just be protecting themselves from that, possible pandemic that's about to hit. Hey, is it still flu season, Monty?
I mean, it's still flu season.
Yeah, bro, they need their masks.
Hey, and I don't want to hear it because what did the CDC tell us? They told us that neck gaiters were perfectly acceptable when there was a shortage of N95s. They told us that you actually didn't need to wear masks, that they were ineffective. And then they told you that you had to wear masks. So they're just following the recommendation of the CDC.
Yeah, that's still there.
me that somebody is going after Bill Clinton. That somebody is the House Oversight Chairman, James Comer, a Republican. Why is the president bothered?
And shout out Couture. She says they don't vote, they just open Leering centers. I mean,
That's
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, man, you could always open a Leering center and get that cash.
That they're investigating
Not
Bill
to the
Clinton
Somali
and his
scandals.
Epstein ties.
Look, I think that the president has respect for the former president of the United States, Bill Clinton. He said yesterday
we don't.
himself, they've shared a good relationship, and that's
Oh,
what
no, we don't. Oh, no, we don't. I ain't even gonna lie, bro. After this video that Trump pretty much dropped, that man's in some hot water. But here's the thing. Now, I'm not defending this.
Oh my God, I was literally just watching that.
I'm not defending this, but this is what they showed you. Right. So yeah, that's what they showed you. I'm not defending it, but God damn it, that's funny.
Actually, you know what?
Damn it, that's funny, bro.
Bro, it's now that I only saw the first 5 seconds of the video, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty racist. But nah, they did it to everybody.
Yeah, everybody got it. I was like, bruh.
That's fucking hilarious.
Bruh. Well, yeah, it is what it is on that note.
he was reiterating in that NBC interview.
Go ahead, Caroline. Can you tell us a little bit about the agenda for tomorrow's talks with the Iranians? What will be the focus of the discussions?
Diplomacy moving forward. The president has obviously been quite clear in his demands of the Iranian regime. Zero nuclear capability is something he's been very explicit about, and he wants to see if a deal can be struck. And while these negotiations are taking place, I would remind the Iranian regime that the president has many options at his disposal, aside from diplomacy, as the commander-in-chief of the most powerful military in the history of the world. Washington Examiner, go ahead.
Lynchburg County, Virginia is the third local law enforcement is defying the blue the blue government's demand that they no longer cooperate with ICE. There's a lot of red counties that are thumbing their nose at the blue government, blue states leadership, telling them not to cooperate with ICE. Will this administration support those counties in any way? Support them either through legal help or?
Absolutely. And if there is a county in this country, whether it's red or blue, that seeks to cooperate with the federal government to remove violent, illegal criminal aliens from their communities, this administration is here to help. You've heard the calls from the president himself on asking Democrats and Republicans across the country to call on the Trump administration to work with them, not against them, in the matter of public safety and securing our homeland. Thank you all very much. You'll hear directly from the president tonight at 7 o'clock. And I hope.
And all right, guys, let's get on to the tough part of the stream, because we're doing it again, guys. We're gonna read through the Epstein files. Shout out to my man Owen Stroiter, because he
wait.
took the time to read through them.
Before you go to that, go to jmail.com. Bring up bro. Trust me, it's 1,000 times easier. Just trust me.
Not a robot. Okay. Nope, still not a robot.
Or just Google Jmail.
It's doing too much.
It's asking you to do a lot. It's hilarious. Trust me. It's worth it.
Wait, what's there though? Now I'm curious.
It's hard to explain.
Well, damn. But all right, hold on now. Let's just play this real quick, and I got you. But this is gonna be a tough year, guys. So we got a good 30 minutes left. So let's thug it out.
But we go into this now for documenting purposes only. We are going to be reading directly from the files here. We're going to hold off most opinion and color commentary on these files until afterwards, but this is for documentary purposes only. We are not making any accusations. We are not making any allegations, suggestions. We are simply reading from the file for documentary purposes. Okay. So, no rhyme or reason, guys. We're just going to start picking them up and putting them down. All right, first file of the day. From Jeffrey Epstein to Eva Dubin. First email here. Mary Kennedy found dead in her backyard. And then Epstein replies, whoops.
Pause.
Whoops. Oh, wait. So this is direct access to Jeffrey Epstein's email?
It's all of the emails in the file categorized so it looks like your Gmail, so it's easier to navigate.
That's so cold.
Also, Hams, whatever the hell your name is. I noticed maggot lice screams. Never block at the chat. Why even have a live stream to listen to yourselves? We literally.
I mean, that's why you can super chat in, my friend. I mean, or you could just be broke and, cry in the chat, but you can always super chat in. We got you, my friend, or become a member. That'll make you noticeable. But if not, I mean, you could just sit there and cry in the chat. So, but bro, this is actually pretty badass. I ain't gonna lie, no, guys. Google this.
Bro, look at the photos. You can go to photos, and you can go to down at the bottom.
Redacted. One attachment. I'm weak. I ain't replying to that, but.
But
okay,
you see at the bottom where it's popping up, click the little hexagon or the grid. There's more.
But all right, though. No, I'm gonna have to check through this on another time, though. But
it's hilarious.
Bro, this is wild. I'm gonna have to comb through that one. Oh, and shout out to Nurse Terry Irving. She says, "S.E.T, that's the point. Just like you redacted to only see the clips, Dems want everyone to only see the Obama part." Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was like they only wanted them to just see the Obama part and think it was just mainly about the Obamas, but really the entire video. Well, he's sending shots. It sends shots at everybody. And people be acting like Trump personally made these videos, and that's going to be furthest from the truth.
The TDS is wild. Lock up the pedophile, rapist, draft dodger, bankrupt real estate sales associate Trump. Good God.
Oh, and shout out to my man Gaiman.
He said check Venmo.
Gotcha. So I thought I did turn the notifications on that. Oh, and shout out to my man Gaming. He says, "All right, coach, let me in. I got you. We're gonna go ahead and go in on this."
Okay.
Monty is a habitual line crosser. No, I'm not. I am not.
This is from a declassified FBI intake form on the Jeffrey Epstein child sex trafficking case from 2020. Enclosed are the following items: graphic capture of viral video. Now, obviously, we haven't seen a lot of these videos, but there are some descriptions in this file. So this is from 2020, July. Dale Martin, date of birth, redacted, cell phone, redacted, residential address, redacted, called the FBI National Threat Operations Center to report a viral video of what appears to be Jeffrey Epstein torturing a young woman with a magnifying glass.
Whoa.
Martin provided the following information. Martin's daughter, Jessica McQueen, date of birth redacted, sent Martin a piece of a video of what appeared to be a young white female aged 11 to 13 years old with dark-colored hair tied down and naked. The victim is tied to the ground and spread eagle with a man who appears to be Jeffrey Epstein holding a magnifying glass with a claw and burning the victim. Martin described the video as being blurry. However, the male subject appeared to be a very large man with gray hair, wearing jeans, a short-sleeved black shirt, and white tennis shoes.
What's up? And yo, what's going on? Give me a shout out, Toe. Can you share that in Discord, the whole thing? Yeah, shout out my man Monty. And gang, and yo, what's going on, gaming? And yeah, guys, this is gonna be a tough listen. So for those of you that ain't really down with that, I wouldn't be mad if you left right now. Just make sure to like the video.
If you got kids around, make sure they're not in the room.
This is about to get real.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, just as another disclaimer, if you get grieved easily, these files are not for you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna say that now. We can talk about it and we'll be like vague about it, but don't even grieve yourself like that. Ain't nobody on this panel gonna be mad if you decide to click off now because you just can't handle it.
All right, let's get to
it. It's affecting my mental health.
Blurry, however, the male sub and appears to be Jeffrey Epstein holding a magnifying glass with a claw and burning the victim. Martin described the video as being blurry. However, the male subject appeared to be a very large man with gray hair, wearing jeans, a short-sleeved black shirt, and white tennis shoes. Martin stated Facebook would not take the video down. In the frame of video, it says Epstein. However, the video is blurry. Martin advised that McQueen did not feel comfortable reporting the information. However, her friends are still reporting it. So that's sounds like somebody witnessed something pretty gruesome there, to say the least. From Robert Trivers to Jeffrey Epstein, subject trans. It is very simple. I will compare male to female with female to male. This appears to be talking about transsexual surgeries. With greater molecular control over development, we are increasingly capable of producing novel phenotypes, more feminine men by blocking testosterone receptors or castration, and at the same time increasing estrogen production. The one blocks male features. The second encourages female features, more masculine women.
All right, make it quick though.
So I want to go out on the record and say this. It doesn't, at this point, this should pretty much shatter the illusion that there are party sides. There is no party side no more. This put that final nail in the coffin, first of all. And second of all, this should... So any conspiracy theorist, quote unquote conspiracy theorist, a lot of people have been saying like, oh, I bet you guys feel vindicated. Actually, no, it's bittersweet. It's actually sweet bitter. It's like, yeah, we were right, and then the reality of like, crap.
Yeah,
we were right.
Yeah.
In the worst way. It's like in the worst way.
It's like, yeah, we were hoping, because a lot of people don't realize this, but bro, we be hoping we wrong a lot of the time. We don't want to be right on this, and the fact that we are is problematic. not I'm gonna end it on this. I'm gonna land the plane on this one, but they talk a lot about satanic sacrifice and all this other stuff, and they are diametrically opposed to Christian. Baal is all through the gospel, and God leveled complete nations because of the worship of Baal. And if y'all don't like what's happening on with these files, what y'all are finding out, that's why God destroyed every single nation that Israelites came across that worship Baal, because of this reason.
All right, let's get back to it.
Heavy testosterone dosage, incredible external effects. Heavily bearded men, you would never guess they had a female bone in their body. First kind, male to female, is 4 times more frequent than female to male. The first is attractive. He is a woman with a cock, so that if your fantasy is to suck a man, you know what, otherwise are completely heterosexual. It would be a much nicer if the rest of the organism is female, then you get the best of both worlds. So many transsexual women are very attractive and easily make money, which in turn they assert promotes their prostitution, since they have to pay hefty fees for injections every week, but they are sexually happy once you have reached manhood. Even castration does not prevent the sensation of orgasm. I'm assuming that's what it means. It says organism.
Y'all tested that
Contrast
out?
the poor female to male versions. They are unhappy and lonely. They are men with mum puns, the worst of both worlds. If you like smelly masculine men, you want that hard penis that comes with the show. You do not want one of nature's more complex and variable structures, the pum-pum, that is acquired taste, and not with a man. There are hundreds of female trans videos websites. I've never seen a male one. By the way, we are now pushing the intervention earlier. So you notice your 3-year-old son has trans tendencies. So now you have to intervene with hormones. I would be frightened to do that, but who knows? So this sounds like not only some sexual fetishes being expressed here, but also experimentation with humans to see what type of trans humans they can basically create here in order to satisfy such fetishes. And then it talks about doing it as young as 3 years old. Now, when you tie this into some of the other stuff that we've seen, not only in the files, but obviously in pop culture, in schools, it seems like there was a larger agenda to normalize this and then also push this to children. And, of course, then you get into the trans issue and the sexualization of kids issue that's been a major political, cultural issue for about 10 years now. This email is from 2018, but as you can see, they were very interested. Epstein must have been for Robert Trivers to send him this email about all the different trans stuff that they were experimenting with and how they felt about it. This is an email. Jeffrey Epstein and Oliver Colomb, who appears, this is from France here. Redacted, he agrees with me. I saw that you sent me an email with a file attached, but the IT guys of the bank blocked it for some security reason. I have a private email that can be used, though, redacted. Besides, Ariane is in the Bordeaux vineyards until Wednesday. It looks like she has no phone or something with her. Sorry about that. Hope you're well. No problem. A friend that built the Beijing import asked if I knew a bank that was interesting. I thought I'd run it by you. If it were good for you, I'm not involved in any way, nor would I expect to be. Very nice of you. Where are you now? On my island in the Caribbean with an aquarium full of girls.
Whoa.
On my island in the Caribbean with an aquarium full of girls. Now, we have a follow-up to that email. The king of Saudi Arabia has a few white sharks at his Jeddah palace. I totally prefer yours. I sure would enjoy the view. As two are Russian, I guess some might prefer to them as white sharks. Now, if you pause for a second here, I don't think we're talking about sharks anymore. They say that they're in the aquarium I don't know if they'd be in the aquarium with sharks, but maybe. I'm guessing white sharks is, it appears, code word for Russian women, maybe a specific type of Russian woman that they call a shark. This is kind of a new one here when we're getting into some new coded language, not that we've seen before, like with pizza and some of the other stuff, pasta, hot dogs, that stuff we've seen a lot. This seems to be new stuff. So it's kind of open for interpretation. Some people think it might mean that they're finding some human hybrid species, or it's just a term for some specific type or look of a Russian woman. Getting back to the email, as long as you don't have any hammerhead ones, I like white sharks. No, some are like shrimp. You throw away the head and keep the body. I like shrimp, but not so much if it's too pink, although I'm definitely more into white than into any other color. I like your philosophy. I can't even think of the smell of black shrimp. We are again in agreement. Now, again, very open for interpretation. I don't think we're talking about sharks and shrimp.
Women.
What's interesting is that we've had other emails in the files where you can clearly see derogatory statements about black people and what appears to be, different men basically saying, I don't want black women around. Whatever women that you're going to have around, I don't want any black women around. So if there's any connecting context, that's really all we can reach for here. But I don't think we're talking about shrimp and sharks. I don't think that's too far of a reach on that front.
Gotcha.
Shout out
From Sarah Kate.
It's really sad how naive you are. Sharks, question marks, aka Shark Week, aka teenage girls going into their first period. I think she's on to something. Or she, sorry.
Well.
Yeah.
To Rich Bennett, no subject. Hi, Rich. Jeffrey is asking if you can FedEx the painting he had made of the massacre of the innocents to the ranch. It's the large 9x9 canvas that we had rolled out for him to see in the entryway where they are killing babies. He wants to use it on the ranch and is hoping you could FedEx it to arrive by Wednesday. Thanks, Sarah. Jeffrey Epstein wanted the massacre of the innocents painting in his entryway so he could see it every time people walked in of them killing babies. To Aziza Al Mahdi, subject.
I was going to say, let's take a quick break so people can digest what they're hearing.
I mean, we got to keep it going. I don't got that much time, but let's keep it going.
Jeffrey Epstein. Hello, Aziza. Hope all is well. Jeffrey would like me to send you a DNA kit called 23andMe. Please let me know what address I should send it to. Thanks. Now, there are other emails indicating it seemed that Epstein was very into testing people's blood, testing their DNA. Now, you can try to figure out why. It could have something to do with they wanted to separate the chosen people from the Goyim, the Jews from the non-Jews. It could be for other things that they were doing at the ranch. We saw other emails where they're talking about Mormon blood. So it could be some of the human experimentation, cloning that they were doing at the Zorro Ranch, and they were looking for specific blood types to run different subjects, to run different tests. But this is an occurring theme here that Epstein wanted to test people's blood and find out their DNA. Oh, and on the pizza front, repetitive pizza code word cited 1,000 times. 1,000 times. You're hearing that. 1,000 times. Yeah, Pizzagate was real. 1,000 times pizza referenced in the Epstein files. And grape soda, I don't think we're talking about a drink.
A fizzy drink.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think we're talking about a drink. And of course, again, this goes back to Pizzagate, WikiLeaks emails, we all remember. Or maybe if you weren't there, you don't, but that's a dark path to go down. So I think it's pretty compelling here that Pizzagate was real. From Brian Bishop to J. Brian Bishop, genetic editing continued. Other updates. Proceeding with more mouse testing at my Ukraine lab. Surgeries, microinjection, Ukraine lab. Amateur in Mississippi has been testing human sperm modification. Just fluorescent tagging so far. Doesn't work for my purposes yet. This weekend, I'm heading to a Biohack the Planet conference, is what it looks like here in this link, in San Francisco, Garage Biohacking Conference. I like to implant embryos, wait 9 months, great ending. So we're talking about genetic editing here, and there's other references to this in the files. We covered some of them yesterday, but basically they're talking about designer humans, superhumans, and how they can, I guess, manipulate the sperm or manipulate the process of having a baby or injecting the baby with something after they're born to create a desired effect. So they were clearly very much into this. They had labs in Ukraine. Now, you see this garage reference here, this garage biohacking conference. It seems like there's a difference that we can see now where you basically had, I guess, what you would, for lack of a better description, they would consider some people, let's say it's like an amateur to a professional. So it's like some people were doing it in their homes, in their garages. They had their own labs that they built in their garage, whatever, in their home. And then I guess maybe you had something in Ukraine or other parts in the world, or Epstein in New Mexico. You had professional labs. It's like this was the upper echelon. This was the elite. This was the well-funded. This had all the best equipment. And you're saying, well, this is just a garage hacking conference. Anybody can do it versus here's what we got. This is the pros. So it's like you kind of start over here, you see what you can do, and then you bring it to Epstein, and he decides whether or not he wants to take it on. That seems to be the story here with the context. So this is to Jeffrey Epstein from Redacted. Subject BBC News. BBC News. The Duchess of York is expected to appear on the Oprah Winfrey Show in the U.S. days after she was filmed allegedly trying to sell access to her ex-husband. You know, there's probably more context needed here. You know, the thing that I found interesting, okay, here's Epstein connected to the royals again, but it's like, did they really think Oprah would be their friend? It's like, that's when you start to run into like the eyes wide shut territory, or, you know, it's like, oh, you go to police, they're part of it. Oh, you go to the media, they're part of it. You know? From Jeffrey Epstein to Peter Thiel. Here we go. Brexit, just the beginning. There's a lot of other Brexit stuff. Of what? There's a lot of other Brexit stuff in here. Thiel in here as well. Return to tribalism, counter to globalization, amazing new alliances. You and I both agree zero interest rates were too high. As I said in your office, finding things on their way to collapse was much easier than finding the next bargain. So this is just part of Peter Thiel being in these emails. And you can talk about the politics of it. You can talk about the culture of it. But it kind of, it leaves me, you know, going back to what we've been talking about on the show, that the elites are expecting a collapse and that all of this is just building to some collapse. and they're just racing to the finish line, getting as much assets as they possibly can before the collapse that the rest of us will have to deal with and, struggle to survive. From Ken T. to redacted, subject, young girl here in Mexico. This is from 2019. She has identified Ghislaine Maxwell as a woman who came to Richard Marchenko's home in Mexico many times in 2010 and 2011 with Nancy Marchenko to set up sexual trips for her when she was 10 or 11 years old. We know of death threats against her because of testimony she gave in 2018 against Kelly, Biden, and Wayne in the sex abuse case in Mexico. Biden and Wayne in the sex abuse case in Mexico. Right now, we have her in a safe location. We want to help you guys, but we also need to protect her, her son, and her guardian. Now, I'm not sure exactly who they're referencing here as far as they're keeping her in a safe location or what exactly that's in reference to. We don't know who Ken T is. But I think the context of this email leave very little to the imagination. This appears to be a child sex trafficking email. And then the names in it, very consequential. From Eddie Aragon to redacted, subject confidential Jeffrey Epstein. This is one of the disturbing ones, guys. And actually, that's the response. If you go back here, from redacted to redacted, confidential Jeffrey Epstein. Looks like at least 3 different names on this email, but hard to tell. Could be 2. Edward, this is sensitive. So it will be the first and last email, depending on your discretion. You can choose to take it or trash it, but this comes from a person that has been there and seen it all as a former staff at the Zorro. Assuming this is the Zorro Ranch, Jeffrey Epstein, New Mexico. The material.
Yo, and shout out to the lunatic libertarian. All conspiracy theories from the past 20 years are true. All systems are failed. And what's going on, lunatic libertarian? How's it going? Been all right.
Material below was taken from Jeffrey Epstein's home as my insurance in case of future litigation against Epstein. Sorry, no questions. Sounds like blackmail protection, legal protection. What is damning about Jeffrey Epstein is yet to be written. Did you know somewhere in the hills outside of Zorro, 2 foreign girls were buried on orders of Jeffrey Epstein and Madame G. Madame G. Both died by strangulation during rough fetish sex. Here are the video footage of Jeffrey Epstein. Now, this is obviously just text in this email. Says sex video with a minor, threesomes, underage girl. Underage girl names another person here. Underage girl, rape fantasy. Girl from Bay Area, suicide attempt, confession to Madam G, audio, 7 links here. Now, we don't have these videos. I doubt we ever will, but I assume somebody does. At least who's ever emailing here has them because this was his legal protection. And then I guess this is a demand. Please arrange for 1 Bitcoin by 6 p.m. today, Thursday, November 2019, to the Bitcoin wallet address, and then it's linked here. Yeah. That's one of the more disturbing ones. Here's a text message exchange between Redacted and Harry Fish. I don't think that's a real name. It turns out that Fish is coded language for other sexual fetishes. We won't get into it. Could be a real name, but I have a feeling that's a code name. And then based off of what we see in this exchange, I think it would make sense. Sultan wants to replace Bionic Dick with new Swiss version. What's different surgeon.
Oh,
You're
what
joking, I
the
hope.
hell, bro?
Nope.
Yep.
Goyam.
Time out. Time out.
I'm not even. I think that one kind of speaks for itself. We won't even. Yeah.
Well.
These are iMessages. Sender redacted. Participants redacted. It does look like what we see here is a Jeffrey Epstein's iTunes. JEE iTunes. Kid is taking placement text this week or text next week. I gave her all the information. This is tough. The kid couldn't have done bikini wax because hair are too short. Next time, do it to her and Elena's nails. Kid will come to the house straight from Frederick with iPad portfolio. Done with Pornhub introduction. Sounds like we are introducing young women to the adult film industry. And I would just say that there are two names that have really dug into this, that are sharing this and covering this. And I apologize if I'm messing their names up right now. I believe it's Lisa Metkoviak, something like that. And then Arden Young, who got behind the scenes and did some behind the scenes content with these groups. And this is unfortunately not uncommon. It's like they decide what they're going to do with you at a young age, and will either send you to the industry like we see in this, or we'll send you to the island, or we'll send you to the lab, or we'll send you to the grave. From redacted to Jeffrey Epstein, I'm a little confused what you are up to, or Ian, is up to. Are you staying with Rupert too? Can you tell me a little bit about Ian as well? Is his home base Carmel? Ian is staying with Rupert Murdoch and his wife. That's what I am up to. Probably significant considering a media reaction, don't you think? Two redacted from Roy Hodges. Subject, Jeffrey Epstein's island. Let's go down to the beginning here. Hope you have a fabulous vacation. And then you see these are different cells. Roy cell, Stephanie cell, Daphne cell, Dr. Ting's cell. Always had doctors down there, huh? Hope you have a fabulous vacation. Thank you, assistant to Jeffrey Epstein. Hello, Dr. Ting. Jeffrey would like you to enjoy a day on his island during your vacation. We can have you and your family picked up from St. John on whatever day is convenient for you, brought to Jeffrey's island to play with his toys. They even put the toys in parentheses here. Toys. Yeah, you can only imagine what that is. And have some lunch. I have CC'd Jeffrey's island managers, Roy and Stephanie, as well as Daphne, who works in Jeffrey's office
Who are
on
these
St.
people?
Thomas. They can assist in coordinating with you. Please let us know what day would work, and they can make it.
Say that again.
Who are these assistants?
Oh yeah, bro. That's what I said. Your assistant's walking around that for some reason is not being held accountable whatsoever at all.
Who are all these people? Like,
Here's the reason why. If you find out who the assistants are, you start filling in a lot of dots. And the assistants don't just work one job in this industry. They probably work multiple. So if you end up finding out who one is or who they are, you can bring down the whole house of cards.
Yeah, because these are the people that's low key gonna like turn over and snitch. But like, bro, they did like it was in the files. They did like a whole like graph figuring out who Epstein's accomplices were, and they redacted his assistants.
why?
I have no idea, bro.
It's all about throwing the big fish under the bus. When you're
Yep.
trying to get a system to burn down, you just, whenever you're trying to get, huh?
I am so tired of hearing that fucking line. It's about the big fish. Fuck the big fish. These are the big fish. All of these people are the big fish. I don't want the biggest fish. I want all of them fucking put in the wood chipper. That's what I fucking want.
Yeah, but sadly, our government isn't going to give us that.
Yeah,
I noticed.
apparently we have to
I
find out
noticed.
for ourselves.
Hey, I noticed that since these files came out, the fucking riots have been on the back burner all of a sudden.
I don't know,
Fuck the
man. It's kind of hard.
I'm so sick of, like, I can't tell you how many times between Operation Fast and Furious, between the Epstein files, between all of these government fucking cover-ups, these government fuck-ups, all of this shit, these kids that are just magically disappeared and end up on a website a couple months later. These are the big fish. These are the blights on our society. These are the reason people can't do anything. These are the reason, and they should not be allowed to steal oxygen any longer.
And then check this out: the Department of Homeland Security, it's Department of is Department of Family Services under Biden's administration in 2023. They lost track of 340,000 children. And the lady that blew the whistle on it, she ended up dead by a random shootout or a random carjacking.
This is like
The lunatic libertarian. I guess he's trying to rub a point in where he's like, "Where are the laws, paramedic? All allowed to do."
They're not allowed to do it. No one's allowed to do things. Things happen, and then people are punished for them. That's the part that people forget. You're not allowed to do something. You're allowed to do it if there's no justice for it.
But whoop. But all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and end it on this one, man. I mean, I know that was a tough one, guys. I know that was a tough one, but you stuck around. So shout out to you guys who, well, had the stomach to listen to that, because I know it got pretty bad.
I had to tune half of it out because that is
Next level depravity. It's like, whoa.
And all I'm going to say is this: for those of you who keep, and people like to say that, oh, this has nothing to do with Christianity. Yes, it does. There's a whole bunch of stuff in these files that have to do with the Christianity. Even at one point in the files, they're talking about what they're going to do with the Christians that are, quote, thorns in their sides. Okay? This is not just about their wicked depravity. It is also spiritual. Bible said it best. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness and principalities in high places.
Remember,
in other words,
hold on, gaming. Remember, like 3 months ago when we were talking about how this was a what's the word for it? America's favorite allied operation, and that we were all conspiracy theories because we pointed out correctly that Ghislaine Maxwell's fucking father was Mossad, that Epstein miraculously disappears and then pops back up. Now we're talking about religious discrimination based off of their Jewishness. We're talking about all of this we are doing nothing but getting more and more and more evidence that we need to distance ourselves from these horrible fucking people that love to sit back and play the fucking victim while they do this shit. I don't want to hear another fucking thing about the Holocaust when I see shit like this. I don't want to hear another thing about how Israel has the right to live. I don't care. I want America to punish the people that have violated American rights, that have depraved American citizens, that our children are suffering. 300,000 children that are lost. They weren't lost. They were sold. They were trafficked. They
were trafficked by the DFS. And they killed the only whistleblower in the DFS that had the balls to say something. Knocked her, her family, her assistants, and her co-worker off. One right after another. And then
also, there is with the release of these files, there is good evidence that Epstein is still alive. Like the coroner report, that the picture that they showed with his fucking face is pink, warm, and dry, and he has a smile on his face. He's like smirking. He's completely alive in that photo, and he is supposed to have been dead for a couple of days at the point of that. And everybody's like, "Oh, rigor, blah blah blah." If rigor is a thing, it's not going to allow you to lift somebody's head up like this to show the ligature mark that they painted on with makeup. Just saying.
Yeah, rigor mortis, it makes you literally stiff as wood, if not concrete.
Yeah. There's a reason it's called rigor mortis. Like mortis, like holding things strong.
But like I said, bro, this is 100% spiritual. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. Yeah, y'all do owe your Christian buddies an apology. Because like I said before during the live, y'all, there's so many people where I was like, oh, well, God's kind of a genocidal maniac and this, that, and the other. This is the reason he was killing off entire nations. This crap right here. This is why he was straight up telling Israel, not the Jews, but the ancient Israelites, who, by the way, are scattered throughout the earth. They're modern day Christians, FYI. This is why he would tell them whenever they would go into a land that worshipped Molech and Baal, which, by the way, they're the same deity. He would tell them, kill everything, every man, woman, child, baby, burn the grass, destroy the livestock, leave nothing alive. This is the reason he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. He flooded the world.
Scorched earth comes from, for the record.
You said what?
That's where the term scorched earth comes from.
Yes, this is the reason. This is the reason he did it. These files, and these files are very spiritual in nature because they hold up. So, well, they refer to non-believers as goyim. You know what goyim means? They can do whatever they want to you because you're an animal in their eyes. You're not equal. You'll never be equal. They blaspheme the name of Christ. They see everybody who's not born Jewish as literally no different than a dog or a pig. And so, excuse me, for me, the Bible is and Christianity is for everybody. All of us, and I said it to you before, Seth. Correct me if I'm wrong. Christianity is for everybody. It's a message of hope for everybody. We have people like this who try to hijack it and gatekeep it. Meanwhile, they're referring to people as dogs. They're telling people that we have the right to treat you this way because you're less than nothing by your birth. They're basically trying to institute the caste system. And these files explain that. These files explained all the. This is kind of the reason why I was hesitant on engineering. I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I did robotics in high school, and I'm talking about like actually we designed, built, and tested different robot designs. I'm telling you right now, they scalped a lot of the work from students who participated in the international robotics competition. I know because I was in there.
All righty. We're going to go ahead and end it out on that one, guys. All right, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. This is Set with Set Media. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Guess we're going to have to end off on a bit of a fight.
BT, nigga. Drop 3 bombs at the end of the like a thief in the night. I send me a strike. Kidnap a op. I'm taking his wife. Me and Joe Biden are nothing alike. He fucked up and I'm making it right. I'm in my bedroom plotting on how we gon' fuck up they New Year. Send him a buck. I got your president hostage, bitch. You pay thinking I'm sending them up. Smoking on you don't know what I do for that flag. You don't know what I do for these riches. Fuck that money I got for my dad. 40 million on my head. And I wipe it with my ass. I'm a $1 billion rocket pilot. Hop out, get my man. Understand? I'm too deep in this shit. Who the fuck is Maduro? Kidnap you and you know. I tell him to come in. Let's play a game of Uno. Drop 2 bombs. Uno. Just like I dropped that bomb on you know. And I cannot move on. I heard that they clicking up. I get in Majin Buu mode. And I get them all gone. And I turn your whole country to a war zone. I take you and put you in the mud hole. Take your wife and give her ass cornrows. Weapons of mass destruction. Venezuela ain't no nothing. Know that they laughing in the discussion. Know that I'm holding the button. They got me pressing the button. Can't catch you, then I'm killing your cousin. I pop out and I'm making it thunder. Take your oil, leave you with nothing. The mind of a general. Know that I'm